Husker Sports Network programming begins in 4 minutes. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 3 minutes. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 2 minutes. And this is our final time check. The network will go silent for the final 1 minute. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 1 minute.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. Action Network reported this morning that Nebraska football was under investigation for improper use of analysts and that they held unauthorized off-campus workouts during the height of the pandemic. NU Athletic Director Trev Alberts released a statement earlier today. The University of Nebraska Athletic Department has been working collaboratively with the NCAA to review a matter concerning our football program. We appreciate the dialogue we have had with the NCAA and cannot comment further on specifics of this matter. We'll hear more from the Husker Athletic Director and head football coach Scott Frost later on in the hour. NU inch closer to their season opener today with another practice session. Afterwards, Husker offensive coordinator Matt Lubick met with the media. We'll hear some comments from him also later on in the hour. Afternoon baseball in the majors. The Cubs beat the Reds 7-1. The Twins over the Indians 8-7 in 11. The Rockies turned back the Padres 7-5. Games tonight under the lights. They're in the top of the 8th with the Nationals leading the Blue Jays 8-5. In the 11th inning, the Mets have just taken a 2-1 lead on the Giants. The rest of the baseball action will be later tonight. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, big run. 15-10 in the 5th. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then, I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Good evening. Welcome to another night of Sports Nightly here on the Husker Sports Network. So glad that you are taking time out of your day to be a part of our little program here. Hope to keep you informed and entertained over the next 2 hours. We're going to hear from Husker Athletic Director Trev Alberts. He met with the media this morning. Same thing with Matt Lubick, Husker Offensive Coordinator. Hour number 2, Oliver Martin, who I think is going to have a big role for this football team at wide receiver. Jessica caught up with him earlier today. And a real treat, we're going to talk about Husker nutrition, which is a big thing during football camp. I mean, you got to feed and keep guys hydrated for a long time.
Absolutely, and we've talked a lot about it, heard a lot about it over the years, how nutrition and performance nutrition, Nebraska has been really a leader on that front, continues to be. They kind of started it here with Tom Osborne. And so I'm going to visit with Dave a little bit on what his staff has to do to kind of keep these guys who've been putting on weight for so long, 6 months, that they've been kind of building up that weight, how they're keeping it on, how they're staying hydrated. It's a big, big deal this time, as you quickly approach game week, and it's hotter, it's been hotter over these last few days. So, yeah, it's a big process.
We'll look forward to hearing that coming up in hour number 2. But we'll start with the story of the day that all Husker fans, I'm sure, have been following the last almost 12 hours. This story broke around 8 o'clock this morning. I read to you the statement from Trev Alberts. He then got in front of the camera, which I really liked that he did that today after practice ended. And here was his opening statement about what he can and really more of what he can't say at this point in time.
Thank you for being here. Scott and I wanted to just spend a couple minutes with you. And I think you got the statement a little bit earlier that was sent out from Keith. We just wanted to acknowledge that there is an NCAA investigation that is currently engaged with our athletic department and our football program specifically. We want you to know that we have complied 100% with the NCAA, been very collaborative in our approach with them in terms of all of their investigation. We will continue to do whatever the NCAA has asked us to do. Our coaches, including Coach Frost, have done a great job and have been very accessible in working with the NCAA as we've worked through these allegations. So this is an ongoing investigation, obviously. So while we would love to provide additional context and details, we simply can't do that at this time. It's an ongoing investigation. But I wanted to come here with Scott and acknowledge, you saw the reports earlier, that there is an active investigation with our football program. We will continue to comply as we have done, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to share a whole lot of details while it's an ongoing investigation.
I thought it was a pretty impressive response by the new athletic director.
Yeah, look, we can't comment on it. It is what it is. There's the info out, but confirming so that the media, have a face to the quote that, is put out via press release. But now here he is saying it. We can't really comment on it. It's an ongoing investigation. But I did think it was key how he pointed out that Nebraska is, cooperating with the NCAA. They've been open and honest about the investigation. That usually bodes well for teams when you're, trying to help them out and clearing things up.
He did say that the investigation predates him. It was going on before he took over as athletic director. He said he was made aware of it on the first day on the job. He then did get asked by the media, were you surprised that this got out today? Here was his response to that.
Well, obviously, Sam, when there's an ongoing NCAA investigation you're aware of, you're not prepared necessarily for leaks or how it gets communicated. So some of that can be a surprise, as well as some of the nuances to the report can be a surprise to you, if you will. But we were aware, and we were working collaboratively with the NCAA on working through the allegations.
So there was his comment there. Scott Frost was also with him, and he only answered about 2 questions. One of them was, would this be a distraction for the team, as we're just, 10 days out from the opener against Illinois? Here was the head coach's comment.
Our players have been laser focused on Illinois. They're still laser focused on Illinois. Nothing's going to change that. Feel great about where the team is right now. We're looking forward to a week from Saturday.
So there's the biggest story of the day. Obviously, I'm sure people have been buzzing about this, social media, talk radio throughout the state today. We can't really shed any more light on it than that right there, that there is, yes, an investigation, Nebraska openly saying that, and that they just are going to wait for it to run its course.
And I do not think for a second that the players are getting caught up in this. I think, as you heard Coach Frost say, they're laser focused on Illinois. They have big goals, and we've been talking about that for 3 weeks. We need to get a football game kicked off, but that they've said all the right things, and they truly believe it. Like, they are focused on the task at hand. They know how big this game one is, this game out of the gate, and so I don't think for a second they're letting it, get caught up in what the task at hand is.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And again, the NCAA tends to work at a snail's pace, so I don't know that anything gets resolved any time soon.
And they're kind of starting to talk about what the NCAA might not even look like. They're forming a committee to move forward, how they're even going to govern the NCAA. They've got a lot of things on their plate. And, some of the things that were about the COVID year, there were a lot of kind of gray areas that were happening across the country with conferences doing different things. And there's no playbook or rule book about things, about what's going to happen if this happened then. It's not like there's a set punishment for something like that. So it's, again, I think a lot of it is going to have to be worked through. And like you said, it might take a while.
It could take a while. You just replay that in your mind, those months back in March, April, May of 2020, and everything got shut down. All facilities got shut down. Athletes weren't allowed to come into the building and work out here. Well, athletes will go find ways to get worked out. So I'm not trying to justify all this, but obviously I think a lot of people, probably a lot of student athletes, a lot of athletes in general, pro, college, high school, were trying to find ways to go stay in shape.
There were a lot of teams, a lot of players across the country, in all the conferences and schools across the country that even when they were not sure about what was going on, the quarterbacks were setting up, times to go throw with their wide receivers, and they were working out. Their high school football fields. The working out and the practicing, maybe not as a team and group, and it was, set up by the university, but the working out and the practicing together was happening across the country.
There's no doubt. We all saw this, people setting up portable pitching mounds and that type of thing. Athletes were trying to be creative during a time where there was no gym open. The Y wasn't open. There were no fitness clubs open, period, for anybody to go do some things, but we'll see where this runs its course. I think you need to sit back, be patient, wait for this thing to happen. I do applaud Trev Alberts for getting out there on camera. He went to, in my mind, Jessica, above and beyond. You put out a statement, and that's, I think, probably all anybody expected today. But for him to go and get in front of the camera with his head football coach, I think it's great. Well,
and obviously I learned very quickly there's a lot of media interest, a lot of media interest around this program, not just the numbers of media, but then across the country. So with so much kind of attention being played to it, to get out there in front of the cameras, in front of the media, and just make a statement, answer what he could answer, and get out there in front of it. Yeah, it was. There was a lot of media attention today, and so for him to get out there and just say, hey, this is what I can tell you.
Right. We acknowledge this is going on. We are cooperating. We are supplying information for this thing, and we will see where it goes from here. All right, so that was the big story of the day. We're going to get more focus in on the football part of this thing, as we're now 10 days out. Matt Lubick has not met with the media for a couple of weeks. He did meet with the team after practice today, so we're going to, when we come back, jump into what he had to say. I think they're getting really close to having their depth chart kind of finished up and ready to roll as we get close to this Illini game. So that's where we're headed next. 402-413-2400. That's our text line. If you want to be fire one of those, also up on our YouTube channel. If you want to jump in the chat room, you can do that tonight as well. More Sports Nightly coming up.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop Woodhouse Ford first. With 3 convenient locations, we offer a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Our no-pressure sales team is eager to help you find the perfect vehicle. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in person or online at woodhouseford.com. Choose your experience and start your car buying journey today at Woodhouse Ford in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
There is no better way to support your Huskers than becoming a season ticket holder. And a limited number of Nebraska football season tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat in Memorial Stadium for head coach Scott Frost's 4th season at the helm as the Huskers play host to Buffalo, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and more. Now is your chance to become part of the storied tradition that is Husker football. To purchase season tickets, call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night of Sports Nightly. We covered the Trev Alberts press event, which was brief, maybe a total of about 5 minutes in the opening segment. That was quickly followed up with coaches and players that came up on the concourse after practice today, including Matt Lubick, who we've not heard from in 2 weeks. He could not be there last week for his scheduled media session, so good to hear from the offensive coordinator. And he was asked a question about where's your guys' focus been? How's it been during the camp?
Where we're at right now is from a focus standpoint. It's been a long camp, but a good camp. A lot of improvement. Our guys are excited to play an opponent, you know, and we're getting ready for that opponent and starting to do some scout looks, and our guys are really excited, energetic about that, and instead of just going against ourselves every day. But really fired up about how our guys have prepared all camp. We're a much improved team. We still got some work to do, but we're a much improved football team.
You like to hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we've been hearing, and it's so. I know that last year was tough because you can't really judge. It was such a weird preseason, so you grow a lot, and a team grows a lot, and it was such just an inconsistent time leading up to season, and you know, even just talking with Oliver about how comfortable he feels in this offense. I feel like a lot of these guys are just feeling more comfortable in what their roles are because they've had that time to figure it out.
So here comes the question about the depth chart. Is it finalized? Is it set? Here was Matt Lubick.
It's not set in stone. It's getting a little more clear. So each day the depth chart gets a little more clear of who we're looking for. Who are the most consistent players at every position. So that's getting more clear. It's not. We haven't completely finalized everything. We're still letting it play out a little bit. But we like how that's shaping up. And the good thing is we're going to have a lot more depth than we did last year. So we're going to be able to play more guys at every, especially the skill spots, more guys than we did the previous year.
There's that word again, depth.
Depth.
It's coming up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they feel really good about it at a lot of positions and getting guys back, but then also just the being able to move quicker, and because of these older guys and they've been in the system and know, and so yeah, I think not only having the bodies but being able to get guys comfortable in what those roles are with that depth. It's one thing to have good players that the recruits that you should bring in and the talent that are on the roster, but it's another one to be able to call on that guy in a game-like situation.
Right, and can they produce? Can they do what you want them to do? All right, how about his room, the wide receiver room, which Coach Lubick oversees on a daily basis? Here's his evaluation of that group as we get closer to kickoff.
Well, as a group, I'm happy because the whole group has improved. Last year we had a lot of first-year players, and so the biggest year of improvement is from year 1 to year 2. We had the addition of a transfer with Samari Torres playing like a veteran, so that's really helped us. But the guys that are coming back that played a lot last year have all took their game up a notch. The Oliver Martins, Wyatt Lure, Levi Falks playing at a high level. Xavier Betts has gotten better. Omar Manning's gotten better. So we feel really good about that position.
He mentions Xavier Betts, who had flashes a year ago of some big things. Second-year player now into the program. He was asked to expand more on what Betts has looked like during camp.
I got a lot of respect for Zay because it's hard. It shows a lot of maturity to admit that you got room to grow, and that you can get a lot better, and admit your faults. And in his defense, anytime you go from high school to college and you get thrown in to play, it's not easy. You got to learn how to practice hard. You got to learn how important all your plays are. And he comes from a great program, but it was still a learning process for him. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that he could have embraced it probably a little bit more. Because we were expecting a lot about him. But the big thing that he's done is he comes out and competes every day. You can make an argument some of the days that you look out there and that guy might be our #1 receiver. Each day they kind of take their turns on who's the #1 guy. But he's continuing to make plays. He's playing at a high level, and just his effort and learning how to play fast. The thing with freshmen, which he was last year, is they think a lot, which caused a little bit of the slow play because they're thinking, they've got so many things in their head, so you can't really see their talent. Well, now we can actually see his talent because he knows his assignments, and we can actually see this is the guy we thought he was, a guy that can make a lot of plays, run fast, and just make our whole football team better.
Sometimes it just takes time for guys to settle in and the game to slow down to be able to be that player. They were just as he was just talking about Betts, that that he's turning into the player that they thought he could be. Wasn't comfortable, he wasn't confident, and now that flip has switched.
I don't know how you can accurately grade from last year a true freshman.
Yeah,
and they didn't really have any kind of. They didn't have spring ball. They didn't have. I mean, it was stop and go in August and September, and so I think any true freshman is really now just really a true freshman again this year. So I mean,
yeah, and actually going through the normal, even like we were talking about Dave Ellis earlier, but just the workouts in the summer, getting your body right for a season. They didn't have any of that last year.
None of that last year. So he showed flashes last year. He had a play against Penn State where he housed one on a little flip pass to him that he just exploded through, and you're like, wow, that's a big-time play. So to hear Matt Lubick say, on certain days, he's our number one guy, that's really encouraging to me.
And Adrian has really bragged on him throughout, spring and summer, and I will say this, just talking with a number of the wide receivers, it really seems like they have put in a lot of time individually with Adrian, maybe as a group, but also one-on-ones, that Adrian's spending a lot of time with these guys, which also makes him more comfortable to throw them the football. I also asked Oliver this question too, which you'll hear it a little bit later, but we've heard a lot of the running backs talking about that chip on their shoulder and wanting to prove, because there's a lot of doubt about that position. I think the wide receivers feel the same way.
No question. They do. And I'll be honest with you, it really at both positions, and we're going to hear from Matt Lubick about the running backs here in just a second. I feel so much better about those groups now than I did a month ago. I really do. I'm really encouraged by what I've seen with my eyes and what I'm hearing from the coaches and players about those two positions. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised when both of those groups line up here in 10 days.
Samori Toure was a big get, not just because of what he's going to do, potentially with how many receiving yards he gets, but just that leadership element and the way that he handles his business. He's a pro, and how he's, leading that group. And he didn't come in and try to rush being the leader and, hey, I'm the guy, I did this, and, you can count on me to do this. He earned it, and he's earned it. And that was so big from a leadership standpoint to get a guy like that for that group.
And you talk about a chip on the shoulder. He's got it.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to prove everybody, all right, you're downgrading me because I was at the FCS level of Montana, where I was an All-American. I'll show you now. So he wants to prove that he is a guy that's going to play in the league. I'm excited about that wide receiver room. Okay, to the running backs group next. The coach was asked to kind of talk about what he has seen from that room during the August drills.
Well, we still haven't settled. I tell a couple of guys are jumping out. Savion Morrison is really jumping out. Marquise, he was banged up in the spring. He's showing some good things, some of the things that we look for, in recruiting as far as a big physical back that we can count on. Gabe Irvin gets better every day, and Marvin's done some good things. And so has Ramir. Ramir's had his best camp out of than he says he's been here. So we're happy with the depth. It's still we're still trying to we haven't made a decision on who's going to be the starting back. We will play more than one guy, but we feel like we have. We lost a good player in Dredrick Mills, who's already doing good things at the next level. But we think we'll have more depth than we did last year.
There's that word again, and he got asked to kind of expound on that depth in that room a little bit more, and here was his response.
You always want to have depth, and running back is probably the most prone position on offense to getting guys banged up, because of what we ask those guys to do and how physical that position is. But at the end of the day, you want to know who that guy is when it's 3rd and 1 to win the football game. Who are you giving the ball? And so that we feel pretty good about it, but we're not ready to say who that guy is. But so to answer your question, you want depth, but at the end of the day, you want to know, hey, this is the drive to win the game. Who is that guy? And that's getting clearer and clearer, and you guys will see that play out.
Again, kind of like we were talking about the wide receivers. He's seeing it, and he likes 3 or 4 of those guys in that running back room.
I absolutely think, even though, we had heard that they wanted to narrow down 1 and 2, that maybe I wouldn't be surprised if that narrative has changed a little bit, because they've had 3 guys that have really stepped up, 3 or 4 guys that have really stepped up and proven themselves, and for different situations. If you need, like you've talked about, having a guy that just runs over people in a goal line situation, or having a guy that, can catch the football, out of the backfield, or, there's And we've heard the running backs talk about that. They all kind of have their own different strengths and things that they can bring to this offense. So maybe they're finding different ways that they can utilize these guys in the offense with different tweaks here or there.
I didn't pull this cut, but he raved about Ramir Johnson, who he said has had by far his best camp.
We've heard that a couple times
from
now.
Several players. And I wouldn't put Ramir in the top 3 or 4, but he must be knocking on the door. They wouldn't keep bringing his name up. My gut tells me Savion and Gabe Ervin are going to be probably the 2 bell cows, but we'll see. Maybe I'm off.
And you heard him, talk about running back is a position that you get hurt. And it's every team, every level, NFL, and Dave Evans in the podcast, it's not part of the clip that's coming up, but said about how running backs they're never really, usually not as healthy as they are right now and going into week 1. And it just, because you take a beating, and especially in this league. And so the fact that they've got that many guys that if that does happen, they're confident in the next man up.
And starting off with a league game, you're going to have that league physicality right out of the gate with Illinois. And boy, the last couple of years have been one of the harder hitting teams that Nebraska has played year in and year out, and I would expect the same thing when we go to Champaign here in 10 days. All right, we've talked about the tight ends and some nicks, and even Scott Frost said last Friday that Travis Vokalek has been limited in recent weeks. Everybody kind of freaked out when they got the second time the media got a chance to go watch practice, and Austin Allen wasn't out there, but multiple coaches said he had a day off. We gave him a day off, and that's fine. He's a fifth-year guy in the program. He knows what he's doing. We wanted to give him a day to breathe. That was the day you guys were here, so don't freak out about Austin Allen. But the day that he took off allowed some younger guys to get some reps, get some more action. And so Matt Lubick was asked, how do you feel about the depth at the tight end position going into this year?
I mean, they've done a great job. We talk about time as kind of that next man up, but philosophy is when one guy goes down, it's an opportunity for somebody else. And Chris Hickman's a great example because we played him at wide out a little bit last year. We moved him back and forth because of his skill set, and he's gone back to the tight end position doing some really good things. Really good things. And we're starting to get back healthy at that position, too, and we'll be healthy for the first game. But it's been good, and it allows you to develop depth when those other guys are out. Austin Allen's played a lot of football. So if he misses a practice, it's not the end of the world. He knows his assignments. And it really does give the other guys a chance to come in and develop, because the best way to develop is getting reps. And so there's always a silver lining sometimes to injuries. Another guy gets in and gets to develop, and we're getting those other guys back, so that's a positive.
Last line was key.
Yeah. I think I said this when we were first kind of talking about, Austin Allen kind of sitting out of practice. But, look, his relationship with Adrian is there. Adrian is comfortable throwing the ball to Austin Allen. Austin Allen knows this offense like the back of his hand. Austin Allen has been a leader for this team. It could be a good thing that he has to sit out and just rest a little bit to allow some of these other guys a chance to go with the ones and catch passes from Adrian, to kind of get that that comfort level there and just being able to call on those guys if that, hopefully it doesn't, if Austin Allen goes down in a season, but that they have guys that they can call on.
Really wanted to get that in there because there's been a lot of consternation about the tight end spot. So I think that should calm you down just a little bit if you've been really worried about that spot. And Austin Allen's just fine. He's going to be great in that Illinois game. I think he'll be a big target for Adrian to look and throw to in that game. All right, what'd you hear? What'd you like? What have questions after hearing Coach Lubick really hit pretty much every phase of the team? He didn't talk quarterbacks really, and Greg Austin did meet with the media today, so Matt Lubick didn't talk about the offensive line much either. But you have some thoughts, 402-413-2400 if you want to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. We're also streaming the show nightly on our YouTube channel, and there's a chat room in there. You can jump in there and have some fun with some fellow Husker fans in there as well. More Sports Highlight straight ahead.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Husker fans, looking for a seat in Memorial Stadium? Custom 3-game mini plans are available now for only $195. Choose any combination of the 6 games available. Matchups available in the 3-game plan include the home opener versus Fordham, Buffalo, Northwestern, Michigan, Purdue, and Iowa. Don't miss this opportunity to join the greatest bands in college sports and help fill Memorial Stadium. To build your mini plan, visit Huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together. It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Buckle up, put the phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night on the Huskers Radio Network. 402-413-2400. That's the number to dial us up with a comment, a question, or fire off a text, or jump into the chat room. Anything in there that we need to address from the folks tonight?
Lively chat once again. Lots of discussions, but one question that was brought up was about Turner Corcoran. Actually, Andy Harris said, I have faith in Grant Banks at left tackle, but hope Turner will be healthy soon. And that was addressed today.
Yeah, good news on that. Greg Austin said that he's optimistic that Turner would be ready for the Illinois game. He's been bothered by a nagging injury, and so he's missed some practice time, and Banks has been working at left tackle. But I think it's getting better by the day for Turner, so that would be great if he could at least play a little bit against the Illini in week one. He, I think, has got a special career ahead of him.
And again, we've said that word a lot today, but it's a good thing they've got some depth there on that offensive line, that they've been able to work some guys in there. So,
Todd on our text line, can you explain the whole week zero lingo? We play our week one game next week, so what do we call the second game? Our week one, remember back when the kickoff classic used to happen, that was our week one game. When did this chatter begin? Well, I think I've heard it a lot more at the high school level. In fact, this Friday night is week 0 for several high school teams in the state. I think there's 6 or 8 games in the state this week for the high schools. But if everybody else in college football is calling September 4th, week 1, what are you going to do? Go, we're 2, but there's still 1. I mean, it just gets off. So you just, to simplify it, because there's only a handful of games, you call it week 0. Makes it easier.
I just am calling it game 1.
Game 1. Yeah,
That's all I'm doing it.
There you go. Instead of week, put a game by it.
When I'm asking players about it, I'm saying game 1.
Yep.
So,
Todd, I get it. I understand. I've felt the confusion of that as well. From Dale in Hastings, he said, I'm sorry, but the announcement of the NCAA investigation 10 days before our opening game seems like someone is trying to cause trouble. The allegations seem like no serious problems. I would guess that you could find that type of allegation at many programs. Again, that's Dale in Hastings. Thanks, Dale, for the text on that. Rudy in Florida, never a dull moment. Go Big Red. With a thumbs up. He's right. Never a dull moment. And it goes back to a comment you made in the segment before. There's just so much attention on this program in this state. It's kind of the good and
across
the
the
bad.
country.
Across Husker fans take it with them, and they just can't get enough of Husker football. And it's the good and the bad. You love the passion. But every little thing gets magnified to the nth degree.
That's why I said we just need to kick this thing off.
Exactly.
We need a football game to happen in a hurry.
That's exactly right. So there you go.
Some funny comments. This is made a couple of times that Desmond Howard is behind the investigation.
Oh, geez.
Because we had the discussion last night.
Yeah, Desmond doesn't bother me. I know he's not a favorite of a lot of Husker fans. One guy texted to me and said, Greg, come on, he's an idiot. So, all right, that's your take. I don't have a big problem with Desmond Howard. I know he got on the Huskers last year when they wanted to play and nobody else in the league wanted to play. So there's that. Greg Austin, I didn't pull some clips. He talked about Banks has been getting first-team reps along with Corcoran in the last couple weeks. Matt Sichterman has been getting the lion's share of reps of the first team at the right guard spot. Trent Hickson has been the backup center to Cam Jurgens, but also can slide out and play guard. Trent's played some guard in the past for the Huskers, and he praised the leadership of Cam Jurgens. Just said he grows as a leader every day, and he's gained more knowledge and experience. So I think Cam's had a pretty good camp.
Yeah, and Jeremiah, if you missed the podcast, the Sideline Scoop with Searles talked about that, as far as the snapping goes, that, during practice, if he needs to just get over, maybe that he said, I think he said, I hope it does happen in practice, and then he works through it in practice so that he figures out if it does happen in a game, how to work through it. But he loves Cam and thinks that there's a bright, bright future for him. There's a number of guys on that line that, a lot of guys have said that could have NFL potential. I think the big thing with the NFL or with the offensive line is figuring out that chemistry and playing well together. I mean, You can have the talent, you can have the depth, but you got to get out there and be able to work well together, and that just takes a little bit of time.
Did he get you a hat yet?
Cam?
Or is he gonna make you buy it?
I haven't talked to Cam. I need to see if we can get a discount or something.
Those hats are pretty sweet.
Yeah. They were wearing the Mexican food place with the burritos today. Those shirts today.
The burritos that they were eating, they kind of had a little competition. It was like huge. It was like this huge burrito.
It's an offensive lineman burrito right there.
Man, that's too much. I mean, but
We'll have to ask Jeremiah about that.
I heard Cam won the competition. That he won the eating competition that night.
Well, he was just announced a top freak or whatever in college football. He's on the freaks list. I've had a few questions about that, but then he's very competitive. He's been said to be one of the most athletic guys on the team, so I'm sure he takes everything that he does. He approaches it as, I'm going to win this competition. So if it's a burrito eating competition,
he wants to win.
Cam's going to win it.
Right. He posted some video. Might have been late June, early July of him water skiing. Did you remember seeing that?
I don't know.
It was impressive. I mean, he's doing the flips around. I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy weighs 290 pounds. He's out there water skiing.
He's apparently a pretty good golfer. He can throw some hay bales around. So, I mean, he can do it all. And apparently win burrito eating contests.
Back to the text line, Andrew from Norfolk. Does the Big Ten going to play any Friday night games this year? Absolutely, Andrew. In fact, after the Huskers in Illinois play on Saturday, next Thursday night, so a week from tomorrow. We got 2 Big Ten games. One, a Big Ten conference game. Ohio State is at Minnesota. And Rutgers plays, I got to look it up now. Rutgers plays a non-conference game that same night. And then there is a Friday game, another conference game, Michigan State and Northwestern.
How about this suggestion from Andy Harris? You two should have Uber Eats deliver those burritos to the studio and review them live.
Yeah, I know.
You're thinking about it.
I'd like a good burrito. That thing would intimidate me. I don't know that. That's. I'm not sure I could do that. On the text line, have you delved into Illinois Prep Week yet? I heard they have around 20 returning starters. Any concern? Yeah, I'm concerned. They came in here and beat us up last year. They're going to be a formidable opponent for that Week 1 game. They dominated the Huskers a year ago, and they do have a lot of players back, and the unknowns have a new coaching staff. Heck yeah, I'm concerned. Nervous.
And as we've said, I mean, it's just such a big game to get some confidence for this team to, string some together some wins. It's not just a conference game. It's not just the unknown. It's just the importance of coming out of the gate and getting that win, setting the tone, and getting some confidence moving into the season.
It is a huge, huge game. But next week you're going to have the Huskers on Saturday, a couple Thursday games, a Friday game, and then.
So when do you start building a depth chart?
I'll do our depth chart over the weekend.
Charts.
I'm going to have to do some digging because a lot of these schools don't put it out for the first game. So I'll have to do some digging on Illinois. Usually, people don't care about this, but Illinois play-by-play guy Brian Benhart, we're good friends. We talk. We'll call each other, and he'll give me some of their starters. I'll give him some of ours. We'll trade information.
Because that's a production putting together a chart. And if you don't have the depth chart or the,
Conference games, Jessica, are really pretty easy because you know the teams really well. When you play the Fordhams and the Buffaloes, that gets hard.
And the season opener.
Right. Harder to find video on those teams. They're not as accessible. Conference opponents are pretty easy because you see them year after year, and so you kind of know their team a little bit going in.
One more question. Any changes to the targeting rule?
Well, they changed it a year ago where if you get called for it and they confirm it, you don't have to go sit in the locker room by yourself. You can go hang on the bench. You don't have to just go to the locker room, which was just cruel. It was so cruel to make those kids do kind of a walk of shame to the locker room when they got tossed. I mean, getting tossed should be enough. As long as somebody spots an equipment guy grabbing their helmet, they know they're not going back in. But it is the same as it was a year ago. It's just, no change from last year to this year.
And overtime rules have changed?
Yes, they have. In the past, you had to wait till the third overtime before you were required to go for a 2-point conversion. This year, the second overtime, you have to go for 2. And if you're still tied, from that point on, it's a 2-point conversion battle. You don't line up at the 25. You get the ball at the 3, and you rotate who goes, and then the first one to come through a period with the lead wins the game.
There you go.
I'm so nervous in overtimes. I hate them.
You don't like overtimes?
Oh, my gosh. It just makes me so nervous. I don't mind when it's my team not playing. When my team's playing, it makes me really nervous. That's good. Good stuff coming out of the chat room and the text line tonight. All right, 402-413-2400. Buckle up, put the phone down. That's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back to wrap up Hour 1 next.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard, and thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer. We're back. Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. 402-413-2400. The number to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. Or if you want to watch our YouTube stream, we're streaming every night. You can jump into a chat room and fire off a question to us via that avenue as well. There's some in there for us there, right?
Yes, lots of questions in here. So any news on kickoff guy? And can he kick touchbacks?
They're very encouraged by it. They've not yet named who it is, but Mike Dawson met with the media on Monday and said, yeah, we feel much better about that phase. So that's good news.
And then a question about masks. If there's any update on that.
Yeah, the latest thing from the city and county is that they're recommended, but not required. But we don't have a home game for 2.5 weeks, so that could change, obviously, between now and September the 4th. If it does, we'll certainly publicize that and let people know. On our text line, Dennis goes, with the construction of the new addition, do you know if there will be a Husker pavilion? If not, where? There will not be a pavilion, but we did announce that there's going to be a campus tailgate thing over on the green space north of the Union that'll have music, and I'm sure you can wander through there. But the Husker Nation Pavilion really hasn't even been in effect for the last couple of years. Obviously last year not at all, but I don't even think that it was in 19. So no pavilion, which is right over where all the construction was. But for the first 4 home games, you can go by the Boneyard.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'd like
excited.
to go by the Boneyard.
You know, and we mentioned when we first announced the news that was coming, how awesome the students were when game day came in, and that's kind of where the idea generated from, is how the students really showed out for that college game day experience. And so wanting to kind of give them an opportunity to be on campus leading up to, kickoff. So it should be fun to see how that turns out.
You got to have your students involved, and they're great here. They really are. I think the Boneyard's going to be a big hit because I think a lot of students don't quite know what to do. They're like, well, don't really have anywhere to go, so I'll just stay in my dorm room and then go to the game 30 minutes before. This is going to give them a chance to go mingle. Maybe they'll learn something about a club that's on campus that they can get involved in. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And just being, down there by the stadium, kind of amping up the energy, and then you carry it into the stadium. And I know the crowd is great, but just, the students are just such a huge part of keeping that energy up.
Got to have great student sections, and that usually makes a big, big difference. And as we go around the league, some of the best atmospheres in the conference are because the students are great, and that's why Memorial Stadium is such a good spot.
Kansas State
They're good.
Has a great student section.
They give them great seats.
Yeah.
Put them right there on the 50, and their band gets fired up. That's a little bandbox down there, and the way they built the second decks at that stadium, and Nebraska hasn't been there since 2010, so it's been 11 years, but it really holds the noise. It's a loud place.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere they create a great home environment, but it's a great road atmosphere too. It gets loud and they stay in it. They don't leave. Those students don't leave either.
All right, 402-413-2400, couple programming notes. We are scheduled to have our first Husker football show tomorrow night with the head coach, Scott Frost. That'll be hour number 2, 7 o'clock hour. So be tuned in for that. He is not meeting with the media this week. He had a little short session there today with Trev Alberts on a totally different topic, obviously. So we'll get going with Coach Frost tomorrow night. Our first John Cook show next Tuesday, the red-white scrimmage. And a real treat for all of us, John Bader. You're going to get a chance to meet John Bader. He's going to be with us tomorrow night.
I can't wait.
He's a character. I'll warn you.
I've been told, and I'm excited. I'm ready.
He's been doing Husker volleyball for over a quarter century.
That's quite the 1-2 punch, John Baylor and John Cook.
Yeah, wait till you hear their show. I mean, they get off on tangents. And you're going,
listen.
What was that? Because, John Cook is a very cerebral guy, and Husker fans know that about him. He's very worldly. He likes to talk about topics of the day. So they'll get off on tangents, and you're going, I thought this was a volleyball show. It's appointment listening radio. It really is. So Greg needs to repeat what Cam Tater Britt weighs. We were talking about Cam Jurgens. I hope that maybe that was People were thinking we're talking about Cam. No, Cam Jurgens weighs 290, not Cam Taylor Britt. So somebody must have misunderstood which Cam we were talking about there.
That would not be good
No.
if Cam Taylor Britt all of a sudden
It was-
weighed 290.
The burrito-eating Cam Jurgens, not Cam Taylor Britt.
Beef jerky weighs 290.
Yes, he does. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry if that was confusing for the folks out there. So we have that going on. Next hour, going to hear from Oliver Martin. You had a chance to talk to him. He's a fascinating guy with what a background he has.
Really does. I mean, 2 different transfers, was it Michigan and Iowa, but had the late kind of waiver granted by the NCAA, so played at the end, but just had a hard time settling into things last year, but now has had a chance to really settle into the offense. But everyone kind of talks about how he's one of the hardest working dudes on the team, and he's really put in the work. And you said it off the top of the show, I think he's, potentially going to have a chance to have a big year.
I do too. I think the coaches will tell you he might be the fastest guy on the team, so he's a tremendous athlete.
He was a swimmer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, 6-time state champion swimmer.
Wow.
He and I chatted a little bit before we started the interview. He's got sisters that are incredible swimmers, swimming in college. And
I wonder if he watched the Olympics.
He did. Yep. He's told me he loves to talk swimming, so maybe a potential feature for Scott's show, as we've talked about.
There you go. Yeah. So you need to write these down.
I have a running list.
Okay. Very good.
So.
Yeah, you need to plop those in there and get that laid in there. So that's coming up next hour. Also, Jessica's got a podcast that's sponsored by Midwest Dairy about nutrition. There's going to be several of them that we're going to play during the year, or record and play back during the year. You did this one about getting the teams ready for fall camp. We're going to hear from Dave Ellis and that whole thing. That is a fascinating side of Husker athletics.
Absolutely. And just where it started, getting to talk to Dave about that, about, Tom Osborne and it was kind of his idea about tweaking his diet and how that's where the interest kind of was sparked. And then, he invested a lot of money in a training table. And then since then, Nebraska's been really, nobody has really matched what they've done in the nutrition front of things. And not just for football, but for all sports. And that's the key thing here, because there are a lot of places that could potentially get in trouble for how they don't, treat everybody equally. But that is not a problem here.
Not the case at all. The texter who asked me about Cam Taylor Britt's weight, he wrote back, LOL, thanks, got in the middle of that and automatically thought Taylor Britt, my fault. Not your fault. I know you caught part of it, and I should have probably said Jurgens instead of just Cam. So that's partly on me. All right, 1 hour of the books. That was fun. Hey, buckle up. Put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll hear from Oliver Martin and Dave Ellis. Action-packed hour 2. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. Action Network reported this morning that Nebraska football was under investigation for improper use of analysts and that they held unauthorized off-campus workouts during the height of the pandemic. NU Athletic Director Trev Alberts delivered this statement earlier today.
Thank you for being here. Scott and I wanted to just spend a couple minutes with you. And I think you've got the statement a little bit earlier that was sent out from Keith. We just wanted to acknowledge that there is an NCAA investigation that is currently engaged with our athletic department and our football program specifically. We want you to know that we have complied 100% with the NCAA, been very collaborative in our approach with them in terms of all of their investigation. We will continue to do whatever the NCAA has asked us to do. Our coaches, including Coach Frost, have done a great job and have been very accessible in working with the NCAA as we've worked through these allegations. So this is an ongoing investigation, obviously. So while we would love to provide additional context and details, we simply can't do that at this time. It's an ongoing investigation. But I wanted to come here with Scott and acknowledge, you saw the reports earlier, that there is an active investigation with our football program. We will continue to comply as we have done, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to share a whole lot of details while it's an ongoing investigation.
Turning to football, the Huskers inch closer to their season opener today with another practice session. Afterwards, players and offensive staff met with the media, including Oliver Martin. We'll hear from him later on in the hour. Checking the big league scoreboard tonight, the Cubs beat the Reds 7-1. The Twins in 11 down the Indians 8-7. The Rockies over the Padres 7-5. The Mets in 12 beat the Giants 6-2. It was the Nationals 8, the Blue Jays 5. Games in progress around the big leagues, just underway in Kansas City, the Astros and the Royals. Bottom of the second, the Yankees 2, the Red Sox 1. Top of the fourth, the Angels 2, the Tigers nothing. The Baltimore Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays tied at 2 in the third inning. Fourth inning, the Braves 1, the Marlins nothing. End of the first, the Cardinals have jumped out in front of the Brewers 2-0. About to get underway, the Mariners and Rangers. Also, the A's in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Later tonight, the Phillies are in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, and the Pirates are visiting L.A. to face the Dodgers. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stibrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back with Hour 2, Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. Hope you had a good day today. It's Hump Day. You're halfway to the weekend. Last weekend without college football.
Oh, and I meant to write this down because now it's at the top of the chat, but Crypto's been giving us a second countdown to kick off, and it is like 800,000 seconds. Is it? That doesn't sound like that much to me.
800,000.
You're talking about seconds.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's crazy. Can we just time warp our way ahead and get to
I
kick
know.
off?
Let's get to game week.
Yeah, we need a game week. Camp gets long. We're glad when camp gets here, but camp goes long. You know the players are ready for a game week, too.
Yeah, and that's chatting with a few of them, each time before we do an interview. It's like, this week is hard. This is a tough week because, the first couple of weeks you're battling it out. You're competing. It's exciting to get back on the field. And then it kind of gets long when you're sick of seeing the guys. Jeremiah talked about, like, I would be so sick of seeing Ben Stille every day, in practice. You get sick of seeing the guy in front of you that you're matching up against. But next week, it's a new type of energy when you start talking, okay, game week is here. is finally here.
Well, this week there's more activity on campus. Students are moving back into the dorms, the Greek houses, those type of things. The spit test out in the parking lot's getting a little busier. You had to go do that, right?
Yeah, we all did. Yeah. Negative over here.
Mine was Monday. You were yesterday.
Yep.
So yeah, you're seeing more and more cars around campus. So the players sense that. They know that's happening, and that's fun and exciting. In fact, Monday, they're going to get a lot more players at practice because you can only go with 110 players. This year, they got 116 because the super seniors don't count against your 110. But about 30-some guys are going to show up for practice for the first time on Monday when school opens. That's when the full team can come. So there are going to be a lot more bodies out there on game week. That'll be weird.
You know, and we've talked about how exciting it is for these players. Some of them have been here for 3 years, and this is going to be the first time that they're going to actually get to be in front of a stadium playing,
Players.
you know, with a significant role playing in front of a crowd like that. But talking with the basketball players yesterday, the volleyball players, you know, some of these players that have been here 2 and 3 years, they haven't been able to experience it yet either. So I think there's a lot of excitement, not just from this football team, but a lot of the student athletes to be able to get to a football game and see a football game.
You mentioned basketball. Did you catch the social post that Keishi Tomiyanga is now on campus? They walked him right into the Hendricks. He shake Coach Hoiberg's hand. They went into theHendricks, and they go, let's see what you can do, and he made his first 5 threes.
Oh, yeah, that's a shooter for you.
He had like a
with his
knapsack.
satchel on.
Yeah, he had a satchel over his shoulder, and he had, I mean, he wasn't.
He had flip-flops or sandals on, and
draining threes.
Right there from the corner. They said he can shoot, and you got a glimpse of it right there. Keisha arrives from the airport, comes in, you know, just knocks down 5 in a row. That is it. You know, Coach Hoiberg is loving that. He loves him some shooters.
Absolutely. So that was kind of cool today. So the entire team is now here. He was the last one. He obviously played in the 3-on-3 for his country in the Olympics a couple of weeks ago, and he just arrived today. So he's there. That whole team is now on campus, and they're getting ready for school to start on Monday as well. We heard from some of the women's players yesterday. You had the Australians in town. That was so fun. I could listen to those three talk in their dialect all day long.
And that full podcast is up if you missed it. If you're just tuning in now and want to hear what a 15-minute podcast. You want to hear them talking for 15 minutes. It's up right now on the Huskers Radio Network podcast. So
absolutely. Ruby Porter, Izzy Bourne, and Jazz Shelley, the 3 Aussies on Amy Williams' squad. Well, let's come back to football. Some media availability today, offensive coaches, offensive players. Your first chance to meet and talk with Oliver Martin.
Yeah, so Oliver Martin, you know, kind of an interesting story. He was the Iowa player, Gatorade Player of the Year, U.S. Army All-American, was a pretty big recruit out of high school, and then goes to Michigan, transfers to Iowa, comes here, and then was granted a waiver with 4 games left into the season. So got a little bit of a taste, but, you know, has now been here, has really been impressive leading up to fall camp, has really put in the work, and feels comfortable in the system. So got a chance to talk with him after practice today. All right, well, 10 days out from kickoff. How does it feel around here knowing that you're inching closer and closer to game week?
Everyone's definitely getting more excited, and practices, there's a little bit more energy, I'd say, just knowing that we're so close to game week, or game day, like a week and a half, 10 days, you said. So everyone's definitely getting a little more excited.
You kind of had a lot of attention kind of brought on you by your off-season leading up to this fall camp. How did you attack the, you know, off-season workouts leading up to fall camp?
You know, I just look at that as a time to build explosiveness, put on some muscle and speed, and you got to work hard to do that. So depending on whatever lift it was or whatever sprint workout we were doing, I was just, you know, focused and giving it my all to try and improve those areas, and that was kind of the mentality I had in the approach.
Did you feel like, we've heard the running backs talking about, you know, with not as much experience, they kind of have a chip on their shoulder, right? Does the wide receiver group feel that as well, being that there isn't a lot of returning experience, but you guys have a lot of talent, it seems like?
Yeah, there's definitely a chip on our shoulder. I know there's a lot of critics or whatever that say that we're unproven, but we're definitely very capable and very talented, and, you know we can go out there and produce. So, you know, that's our mentality going out into the games, is just to show everyone that we can produce. So
How much more comfortable do you feel in this offense this time around?
I feel way more comfortable. It's almost second nature. You know, I can see a lot of the signals and like know what the play is going to be before the signal's finished being called. Just processing the signals and the plays a lot quicker than I was last year because it's just all so new. So I hadn't had the reps or seen the signals or plays enough to have it be processed so quickly.
How it's been talked about too, the relationship that you've been able to build with Adrian. How did you guys go about that and kind of building that where he knows he can throw the ball to you?
Yeah, that's getting out on the field with him and running routes in practice. Just running the routes exactly how you'd run them in the game, you know, with intent and speed, and you got to be at the right place at the right time and just repping that over and over, and then he starts to trust you. And then also, like, if you have one-on-one situations and you make a play, or you beat the DB and you do that enough times, then he starts having confidence in you on the plays where it's one-on-one scenarios.
I heard Coach Lubick talking about there's a number of wide receivers that feel like they're going to be able to call on. How important is that there is multiple playmakers out there on the outside that Adrian can throw the ball to?
I'd say like the biggest advantage to that is we'll be able to wear defenses out, secondaries out. So like we could have two receivers in the game and they could go on for 2-3 plays, and then we could rotate and put in two other receivers, and then that DB is still going, so he's not at his 100% like freshness, and we have new receivers in there who coming in fresh, full speed, and just wear them out.
And you don't have to give anything away, but the running back competition, how confident are you guys as an offense in whoever's going to be, you know, getting those handoffs come game day?
You know, I'm really confident in the running backs. Just from what I've seen, they look really physical, fast. You know, they're making good cuts. I think whoever's in, I think they look really good. The guys that we've been playing.
And as you kind of move into now, you know, preparing for Illinois, how do you guys go about doing that when there's not a lot of, you know, maybe much out there on this coaching staff and what might be done? How do you go about preparing for Illinois now?
So our coaching staff will put together specific plays against their defense, and then they'll start kind of rotating players the way that we'd rotate in a game, and that's kind of how they go about it.
And just, you know, as you get closer and closer, how important is it to keep up that intensity, you know, as you have such a huge game out of the gate for week one?
Yeah, you want to have good intensity and good effort because you want those plays to be getting executed the right way going into game week so that the coaches have confidence, the players have confidence, and, you know, then it's like you're thinking a little bit less about the execution and you're just playing fast because you know what you need to do.
He was impressive, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, a swimmer, a state champion swimmer, and so just a great athlete. But you just get a sense and a feel from, you know, listening to players and coaches, they're ready for a game. They're ready for a game week. You know, it's been talking season. I think they're ready to go out there and prove it on the field.
I think he's going to have a big year. I think he might even factor into some of the special teams, a return game for this team as well. Interesting path. You grow up right outside Iowa City in Coralville. Everybody probably expected you to stay home, play for the hometown team. He didn't. He goes to Michigan. It didn't work out there. Comes back to Iowa, and I think that itch to just be somewhere else was still with him, and that's why he came to Nebraska. But I think he's settled in here. I get the feeling he's really locked in here now as a Husker.
Well, also, he's a wide receiver. Would you want to be at Iowa if you're a wide receiver?
Yeah, they don't put a lot in the league. Now, you know, Nebraska hasn't done as much, but yeah, the way this offense is, I think I would much rather be a part of this offense than I would theirs. It's a different style. Now, there you go. You're stirring up that Iowa spot right there.
I feel like they're known for running the football and running the football. And so if I'm a wide receiver, I'm going somewhere where they're going to throw me the ball.
This offense has to be attracted to people. It's wide open. It goes. And so I think he's going to have a big year. Hope so. Fast player, good young guy. All right, our Sports Daily Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is, what else? Jessica gets it. She's already spent over to Iowa. 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. We got more of the show coming up.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams.
Help!
Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. Husker Volleyball will take the court Saturday night, 6 o'clock for the red-white scrimmage, 5:30 pregame coverage. That'll be the first broadcasted event on the Huskers Radio Network. Soccer tomorrow night kicks off their season out at Hibner Stadium against Western Illinois.
I'm excited about that team. I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
I think they've really increased their speed. And I think they have some freshmen that are going to make an impact.
And just talking with a couple of the players, the mentality, and you said this, the defensive mentality is there, but they're tough. minded. They're not afraid to get physical out there. They just
You were impressed with the physicality last week.
Yeah, it was
just the South Dakota match.
Yeah, they're not afraid of that. And then you add the scoring element to it. I think they're going to surprise some teams.
They play twice this week. They've got the match with Western Illinois tomorrow night at home, and then they go to Missouri. We'll play the Tigers out of the SEC on Sunday. So they'll bust down to Columbia. That's a 3 o'clock Sunday match. In fact, they get the next 3 are on the road. How about this? Missouri, Baylor, Oklahoma. The next 3 matches after the Western Illinois, all on the road for that team. So we wish them good luck as they launch their season tomorrow night. You are starting a series of podcasts dealing with Husker nutrition, which is a huge advantage for this athletic department. They've done such a great job with Dave Ellis at the head of this. Brought to you by Midwest Dairy, right?
Yeah, so Midwest Dairy reached out and, thought the importance of kind of, focusing on that because it is such an important aspect of what, this program does. And it's a big part of the recruiting cell. I mean, Tony Tuioti said that he brings his big defensive lineman through the training table and says, hey, nowhere in the country is going to get you ready, get your body right for playing, at this high level. So, yeah, it's a big emphasis here, and not everywhere, focuses on performance nutrition like Nebraska. They're ahead of the game. They've been ahead of the game for 30 years now. So, focusing on that aspect of it. So got a chance to sit down with Dave Ellis. And here's a little sneak peek, and you can hear the full podcast episode coming out tomorrow.
Obviously, it's hot and humid in all the sports that show up, football included, volleyball, soccer, cross country, those are our early report sports. We'll all be exposed to the elements to some degree. When you wear pads for the first time in that kind of heat, there can be very profuse fluid loss. We can't really replicate what it's like to wear pads because the rules don't allow us to wear pads in the off season. So contact and pads in hot, humid weather is a challenge, right? I mean, that is a day where you're going to find out who's a 2-pound sweater, a 4-pound sweater, a 6-pound sweater, an 8-pound sweater, and yes, we have 10 and 12-pound sweaters that lose so much body weight profusely over the course of the practice that we have to, teach them how to drink before they get thirsty, use the right types of rehydration profiles to match what kind of sweater they are. Some people are more salty sweaters, some are more dilute sweaters. Some people are amazingly efficient and go out in the heat and hardly sweat at all. So, we've got every kind of sweater there is out there, and you got to get to know them. And we actually have some athletes who might have even more dramatic challenge than fluid loss to deal with. There are athletes who might have sickle trait, where their ability to resolve the burn after an exertion is compromised, that we have to have special buffered solutions to help them make it through the practice. And we take all this very seriously. At the end of the day, we want to make them better at it, proactive, conscious consumers, and minimize the gap from their weight at the start to the end of practice. Come in hydrated, do a great job during, minimize how many pounds they lose so that they can bounce back before the next walkthrough in practice.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have spent, 6, 7, 8 months trying to put on weight to play for a season, and fall camp can be hard to keep it on.
Yep.
Do you sometimes, are you guys sometimes chasing people down to get them to eat? Because you might not be hungry out there in the heat and working so hard.
Appetites definitely get suppressed. People intentionally restrict on the way to practice in the morning, so it's starting hard to get as much down at breakfast, knowing they're walking into an early practice. When they get done, they might be ravenous, but their appetite might be suppressed because their body temperature is still elevated. I mean, when you're sitting there sweating over a plate of food, it just isn't a real perfect setting for them to eat as much as they need. And then we get back to mid-afternoon snacks, and we get back to dinner, and we get back to a post-meeting snack at night. I mean, basically we've got food in front of them during their entire conscious hours of the day during camp, so that when their appetite does come around, that we get as much down as we can to help them bounce back from one practice to the next and to hold their weight. And you mentioned something earlier that I neglected to talk about, which was they have the ability to cook their own food at our meals. And, when your appetite is kind of in the tank, that might be the difference. Their ability to pick out the ingredients they want, cook and season the food the way they want, eat it over the noodles or rice that they're in the mood for. And, you know, if that's what does it as far as helping them make it through a trying time like camp, then that's really important, and we're going to give them every advantage we can.
Let's talk about where you're moving forward those plans, because I know your training table is going to be immaculate, and people that are listening might have maybe donated to the project, might be thinking about donating to the project. How important is what you are doing and your part of this new facility that's going up out here?
Well, imagine there's 3 levels of the facility: a ground level where the football locker rooms and therapeutic spaces and the weight room will be. The next level up is kind of street level, not field level, but street level. And that will be the academics and training table. And then we'll go up one more level, the top level, and you've got mainly football offices and meeting rooms up there. And, you know, 300,000 square feet between the weight room and all of these other spaces is enormous. And, you know, then the fact that we're connected to the stadium where there's massive infrastructural space, we're square footage wealthy here when it comes to not being landlocked and boxed in. And what we're getting ready to do will take decades for people to catch up with, and that's critical in sports. And so the training table infrastructure that I've laid out for the future space, we're growing from about 12,000 square feet to over 20,000 square feet. And, you know, everything that was rate limiting that we had outgrown in our old space that we're currently operating in, which, by the way, people would kill to have, will all be remedied in the new space. And so, you know, a comfortable environment where at peak times everybody can get in, move quickly, stay on schedule, and yet maybe the most important thing, it will stimulate them to build healthier plates. Just not only the order that they see the food, the way that we group it, immune foods, energy foods, and recovery foods kind of in that order, but the fact that when they do go through that food supply, that we've got current and future dietitians shepherding these athletes through that food supply at each meal. And, you know, we're trying to make food coachable. We're trying to group food in a way to where the very sophisticated, diverse nature of food can be simplified into actionable, executable buckets and decisions, per se, that the athletes can make, and that they can, you know, make that formative, learn what they're doing while they're eating with us so that they can carry that forward away from the facility as a life skill, right? It can be there to serve them for their entire life. And, of course, we're very concerned about what happens when these athletes' competitive days are done, and nutrition is going to be a huge part of it.
Perfect segue there. You were talking about all the different nutrients that they need to be putting in their body. This podcast would not be possible without Midwest Dairy. They've been a partner with you guys, and I know they're working with a lot of big things with you guys, a lot of fun stuff you're going to get to use in your kitchen.
Yeah, we're big fans of dairy. It's one of the highest quality and most valuable protein sources for fixing sore muscle, resolving muscle damage, supporting growth. So when we talk about protein to our athletes, we talk about diversifying between animal, dairy, and vegetable sources. Dairy being a category that we define all by itself because it stands alone in its value. So to have partners with local dairy groups like the Midwest Dairy folks are fabulous. They come by and say, what can we do to help? You know, pretty simple message. And we've always got an idea. Anybody that shows up with that kind of open mindset, I'll have an idea. And so, like, they're going to bring us some freezers for frozen dairy items. They're going to bring us some coolers for ready-to-drink dairy items and yogurt. And they're actually going to bring us some 3-minute pizza ovens that we can put in our training table to allow the athletes to build their own flatbreads and pizzas on.
Awesome.
That, you know, well, like cooking, like at the Life Skills Kitchen, they'll have to learn how to make a healthy pizza, but nonetheless, we'll put out a lot of unique ingredients, and they'll be able to do something that certainly beats what would get delivered to your door at midnight.
So that's just a small portion of the full podcast that will be coming out tomorrow on the Huskers Radio Network podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Brought to you by Midwest Dairy, representing your local dairy farm families. And yeah, that's 30 minutes long, and we had a lot of we actually talked about the running backs. There's a lot of interest about the running back competition on the field. Well, they even compete at the training table because there is a cooking station, which I told you about too. The 3 times that I've been down there to shoot stuff, there is all kinds of athletes down there cooking their own meals, which is important this time of year when you heard Dave talking about you leave camp, you're hot, you're not hungry, and maybe the difference in getting you to eat is what sounds good to you, that you can make it yourself down there. But it is so impressive, the training table right now, and the one that's being built outside of our stadium right now is going to be unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah. And when those pizza ovens come in, Greg, I'll try to get you. I'll try to get you in when we go down there. We're going to do a cooking competition with some of these student athletes. I'll try to get you in on that deal too.
Just killing me talking about all this food here and this thing. On our text line, John in Omaha said, "Outstanding interview with Dave Ellis. He really needs to write a book for those of us who are not Husker athletes but could use that kind of knowledge. Thank you for that interview. Looking forward to more." John goes listen to the entire podcast, and this is part 1 of a series of these, right, that you're going to be doing.
Yep. So first of 4, at least, and going to chat with Dave and then some student athletes. We're hearing some of the stories about, transfer players that have come in and have really benefited and have said how much better it is here and the options here at Nebraska. And it is a huge part of it, and it can make a big difference on a field on Saturdays on how you can, finish out a game, the stamina and just again, how are you, converting that into what you're doing in the weight room? All of that kind of all plays in together.
Yeah, because you can defeat the work you do in the weight room if you don't eat right. If you don't do the two in cahoots with each other, you're going to lose something.
Yeah, so. and Dave is the best in the business. It's why Tom Osborne, wanted him to help establish it here. And when Dave came back with Scott Frost, when Scott Frost was back, they're doing. And Dave has an incredible staff too. There's dietitians there, trained dietitians that continue to help with each sport. They are all kind of assigned to their own sports. So each sport is individualized on what that sport needs specifically.
Right. A vast majority of these student athletes do not know how to eat right when they get here. They just don't. I mean, most teenagers don't. I mean, they're good. Their thought of a good meal is going through Taco Bell drive-through, right? Or Chipotle or hitting one of those type of things.
Right.
And you have some foreign athletes, particularly on the track and field squad, who come here from a different country where their cuisine is totally different. So they need to be helped out and get all that done right. So that was really good. I enjoyed that and look forward to hearing more of those. And
so tomorrow, full podcast shopping. So thanks to Midwest Dairy for that.
Fantastic. All right, need to take a break. So time to you. If you want to jump on board the program, 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. Also, our YouTube chat room is open and lively again tonight as we do video stream the show on a nightly basis. If you want to get in there, you can pull that up and have some fun with the folks in there tonight. Back with more of the show coming up next.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Ford. Take advantage of our current offers and vast inventory selection with features you want at a smart price. Schedule a test drive today or shop online with our streamlined sales process. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in person or online at woodhouseford.com. Choose your experience and find your next vehicle at Woodhouse Ford in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From vintage sneakers to bacon-scented soap to water fountains for your pet, all can be had with a few simple clicks. Problem is, you never really know what you're going to get until they show up at your door. Introducing Ford Blue Advantage. It's used car buying that's built for you. Not only can you shop for used vehicles online, in person, or both, you can also test drive before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. Plus, get history reports, vehicle inspections, Ford warranties, and the expertise of factory-trained techs. Visit FordBlueAdvantage.com today.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night of Sports Nightly. Again, the podcast sponsored by Midwest Dairy will be available tomorrow where you find podcasts if you want to hear the entire episode with Dave Ellis, who is at the top of his profession. So enjoyed listening to that earlier in the hour, and also great to hear from Oliver Martin in there as well. How's the chat room going right now?
It got a little crazy there for a minute. It's getting close to kickoff. You can tell that. They're getting competitive. But, yeah, excited. You know, there's always seems to be predictions about the upcoming season. I've seen 10-2 now several times from people. So,
all right.
7-5 was to start out there. But, yeah, you can just tell that the intensity is getting higher as we get closer to kickoff.
All right, that'll be fun. Well, Husker Volleyball will take to the court in front of the fans on Saturday night. Not a real game, but the red-white scrimmage will take place at the Devaney Center at 6 o'clock. John Cook, head coach of the number 5 ranked Cornhuskers of the preseason poll that came out yesterday, put a little message out on social media, and we thought we'd play that for you here tonight.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Cook here. It's been 2 years since we've seen you in Devaney. We're super fired up. We're going to blow the roof off the place for the red-white game. I can't tell you how excited our players are to finally play in front of the Husker Nation. We were hoping to have COVID beat by now, but it's still hanging around. And the red-white game is going to be the first indoor sport at Nebraska in 2 years. So we're going to try to take every precaution that we can. Our players are going to be wearing masks when they're not in the match. And we would like you to consider wearing masks as well, just to be safe so we don't have a setback on our season. So here's the game plan. Mask up, but that doesn't give you an excuse not to cheer loud. Let's do this right. Let's protect. Let's make sure we give every chance we have to have a great season because we want to win a national championship and a Big Ten championship. Go Big Red.
Hey, you go. Good message from the coach. And, you know, I think that's kind of what the local health authorities have said. Indoor events, that's highly recommended you wear a mask. So there's the coach kind of giving you permission to do that, but not giving you permission to be quiet. He wants you loud.
Right. And he knows, the players know, and they've said it, how I guess not necessarily a disadvantage, but how that hurt them last year, not having a full Devaney. And so, you know, trying to make sure that that does not go away again this year as they make another run at what they think could potentially be a national championship winning team, you know, and they don't want to lose that advantage inside Devaney.
Absolutely not. It's going to be fun to see that group, and there's so many new faces that are going to be a part of this group, along with obviously the Hames and the Kubiks and the Sons that are back for another year for the Cornhuskers. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in that red-white scrimmage on Saturday night. 6 o'clock, first serve. We'll have it on the network at 5:30 with John Bader and Lauren.
I'm going to be there working.
You're going to go. Good for you.
Going to do some live interviews with players, but I cannot wait. I mean, I know it's just the red and white scrimmage. Right. It's a scrimmage, but I cannot wait for my first experience seeing that team in Devaney with the crowd. I'm so excited. Counting down the days.
That'll be fun. So that's coming up on Saturday night. So good message there from the head volleyball coach there as he gets ready to embark on yet another season for him.
How about this? Cook will be the coach for the Olympics next time? No?
Question mark? Is that a question mark? Or is that?
I don't know. There was no punctuation.
I don't know that John... I mean, he's been an assistant coach for the Olympic team a couple of times in his career. I don't know. I don't know that that's probably a burning desire. He loves his off seasons and his times in his cabin out in Wyoming. So I don't. Maybe I wouldn't. I'd never say never, but I don't know.
Hey, he's going to have players in the Olympics. That's for sure.
He is. Yeah. 3 this past year, 4 actually, 3 that played for Team USA, and then Sarah Pavin for the Canadian beach volleyball team.
Which, by the way, the theme, you know, we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but talking about the roots of this program and the Olympic history and the championships. I mean, there is a lot of history, and this team really wanting to embrace that and honor that this season.
He's a master motivator. John is. He comes up with all kinds of stuff that he loves. He's such a worldly person. You'll find movie quotes, military quotes, whatever he feels like might push him over the top. He's all about looking for those type of things. Did you watch, I'm sure you did, The Last Dance?
Yes, yep.
The Bulls documentary that came out with Michael Jordan about a year ago, and the kind of the fall of that, and they all blame Jerry Krause, the general manager. Well, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green are now blaming Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr and team president Bob Myers for mishandling the fallout from the players' argument that ultimately contributed to Durant leaving that organization. The Warriors were so good with that whole group, won multiple championships. So this kind of reminds me of The Last Dance. It's kind of, they're blaming the front office for breaking up a really good group out in Golden State.
I don't know. Kevin Durant does not like being not liked. So I don't know. Who knows? Who knows about that?
This was part of an episode of a new series called Chips that those two guys are a part of. You gonna watch that?
I'm all in on basketball. I asked you, did you watch Malice at the Palace?
I've not yet.
You have got to watch that. That was really good.
I will. I will get to that. So, yeah. In fact, these guys even talked about in this clip that I watched from this Chips, they talked about this is just like The Last Dance. This is what happened to the Bulls. Same thing's happening.
I don't know about that, but I don't know. I'll have to listen to it, and I'll get back to you on my opinion on that. But I do think Kevin Durant is a guy that, I mean, obviously likes to stir some stuff up, but I think he knew that people said that his legacy was not going to be cemented at Golden State, right? Because he went to the team that just beat him, and there was so much talent there. I think he knew that he needed to go win a championship somewhere else to help his legacy. So he can spin it however he wants, but he left because he knew he needed to win a title somewhere else, my opinion.
In Draymond Green and Kevin Durant's eyes, this is Last Dance Part 2. I'm not sure I'm there.
I'm not there.
You're not there with them either. All right, need to work a break in. 402-413-2400. We're back with more Sports Nightly coming up.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer. Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. 402-413-2400. The number if you want to dial us up with a comment, a question, or fire off a text. And a few more minutes still with the stream up and running if you want to jump into the chat room and fire something at us as well. Earlier in the program, we heard from Matt Lubick, Husker offensive coordinator, and I lost track of how many times he used the word depth.
Yeah.
Talked about it at his position, wide receivers. He talked about it at the running back spot. Talked about it with the tight end position. There's some spots that get you really excited. I think I could just tell he was really, I thought he had a really positive feel with what he talked to the media today.
Well, and as an offensive coordinator, and I'm sure Scott Frost, they kind of concoct the plays, but having those different kinds of weapons that you don't have to be so limited and you can kind of get creative because you've got guys that can do different things, whether that's with the running backs or the wide receivers. The tight ends are going to be a problem.
They are.
They're going to be a matchup problem for a lot of teams. Austin Allen, I think, could have a big year, but, you know, building that depth there as well. But just having different weapons that you can utilize as an offensive coordinator, you got to be like a kid in a candy store, in a candy store, just giddy with all the things that you can do with those options.
Garth Brooks canceling the rest of his show after the Lincoln show. He just said the virus is coming up, the numbers are going up, so he goes, we're watching this new wave, and we realize we're still in a fight, so he's going to back away from his tour. And so Lincoln was his last stop until further notice.
And did I see the largest crowd he had ever played in front of?
I saw somebody say that. I have not read that in a story. Somebody said the Journal-Star had that out there, but there was a big group here the other night. It was a cool deal.
He loved it, man. He was tweeting about it afterwards, the day after Monday. He was very appreciative of the response that he got here. So
it was a fun night, as we talked about it on Monday's program. The weather was so nice. He was phenomenal. He played for over 2.5 hours. It was a great event, and obviously that leads to the next question, and I'm sure Trev Alberts is going to get this as well. First time you 4-8-1, and to having a concert in the stadium for the first time in almost 40 years, and you had beer sales. Are either one of those going to continue? I think it's got to be looked at. I think they probably have to take a long, strong look at that.
Yeah, and teams across the country, programs across the country, as this started happening more and more, are seeing the financial benefit of that and how much revenue that could potentially bring in. So, yeah, it's definitely something that if, however it played out, it's worth looking at, as I think every school in the country is looking at it, whether they sell it or don't.
At Oklahoma, right?
Yes, that's recent.
At all of their venues or just football?
All of the venues.
So Lloyd Noble, they sell it there
Baseball.
too? Okay. Well, it's certainly a hot button issue here, and I know it stirs emotions on both sides. I'm not trying to belittle that. But again, these schools are coming out of a pandemic where they all took hits financially to their budgets. They're trying to recoup that a little bit. This is a way to do this. That concert was a big bone, I think, for the athletic department financially because they got a cut of that whole night.
Well, and you look at Texas, so they not only sell alcohol, but they also have sponsors. So, they're the signage everywhere.
Right.
So I think it's wine, liquor, it's beer. It's kind of all those separate, entities as well that you're bringing in. So, a lot of schools do it a lot of different ways, but there's no doubt that it's definitely a revenue generator for those programs that I think a lot of schools, if they haven't done it already, are taking a look at it after last year's hit.
I don't know where that part of it goes, but my gut says that's not the last concert we see in there.
As well of a response as it was, it was trending how great Nebraska looked on social media, how well Garth is a big name, and the fact that he's, putting it out there, how great of a crowd it was, how he's never heard Friends in Low Places saying that loud.
Yeah.
That he's never heard Friends in Low Places saying that loud. For that kind of response from a guy like Garth, and we talked about it, it's got to be the right type of venue and act that you bring in, but the fact that it went over so well and it was noticed across the country how well it went over, I don't think it's the last either.
I don't know that anybody else could fill it like he did. I might be wrong, but I can't think of another entertainer. You've had people in the chat room say, how about a UFC fights in there? I don't think it would draw near that. I don't think a boxing match with Bud Crawford, I think it would do well. I don't think it would do that. I don't know that Kenny Chesney could do that. I just don't know that any other entertainer could duplicate that, nor do you need to. That was phenomenal. Even if you put 70,000 there, it looked great. But that was everything just came together for that in a perfect circle, and I thought it was fabulous.
I think if you can get a guy of that magnitude, though, in, obviously it's proven that it can happen.
It can work.
And you can maybe think about logistics of, another act of how
or
it could
acts.
work.
Maybe it's multiple acts.
Yeah, a festival?
A festival type thing where you have several artists do it, and maybe that could do it.
Greg,
So,
there you go. Get on that. Start working on that.
On the text line, said, how about Drake with special guest Delano Banton?
Yes.
Don't think Drake would fill it.
What?
No.
I don't know.
Andrew would go, but I don't know.
I would go.
I would go. I just don't know that. I don't know. Not that I have anything against Drake. He's really good, but
like a rock band, some kind of rock band, like
maybe
Aerosmith or something.
I don't think they would know. They're way past their prime.
I don't know.
They're
I'm
past
trying
their
to
prime.
think of who would be.
I don't know that Aerosmith would fill. Yeah, they'd fill PBA. Well, I don't know. Man, I got off track with that, didn't we? Right there. All right, that's going to put a wrap on the show tonight. Tomorrow night, our first Husker football show. Head coach Scott Frost will be here tomorrow night, and John Baylor is going to make an appearance. We haven't found him for months. He goes into hiding after season's over. We'll do our best to lasso him into the studio tomorrow night as he gets warmed up and ready for the red-white scrimmage coming away on Saturday night. That I guess I misread the clock. We still have like a minute to go. I was wrapping up. I thought I was about ready to wrap, but I got another minute to go.
Hey, the band's been out there again today.
The drum line, I heard them earlier.
That's exciting.
That just gets me so fired up to hear the drum line. I know we're getting close to a college football season to see the pep bands going, marching bands.
Yeah, when you start hearing that around the stadium, it's getting closer and closer. They got to practice too, and they got to put in their time.
They do. Those kids work hard. I mean, that is not easy work. And then they put the full uniforms on, and these warm days in September and late August like this year, that is not an easy thing. And I know our folks appreciate that. They have a concert Friday night in the stadium. So if you want to come out and watch free marching band concert, that will be inside Memorial Stadium on Friday.
And you're going to be able to see them on the stream this year, too.
Perfect segue to the end of the show. Thanks to Jessica, to Andrew, to Mike, to all of you. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop Woodhouse Chevy Buick in Missouri Valley, Iowa, and experience the Woodhouse difference, where our sales staff is here, ready to help you find your perfect new car, truck, or SUV. And with over 100 new vehicles on our lot with more arriving daily, we're sure to have something for you. From the Buick Encore to our heavy-duty trucks, we have the best selection available. Find new roads and shop all of our inventory and offers at WoodhouseChevy.com or visit us at our dealership for a test drive today, making car buying easier. This is Woodhouse.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Husker fans, the 2021 athletic season marks the beginning of mobile tickets for Husker sporting events. Tickets and parking passes for all sports will be available for download in your ticket account on the official Huskers app. It's a safe and easy way to guarantee your entry into some of the most exciting sporting events around. Simply download your ticket from your ticket account or the Huskers app and save to your mobile phone wallet before you leave home. Scan at the gate and enjoy the game. Go Big Red!